Hi there, welcome to the SparrowCast series where we help you to connect the dots. Take home the best ideas from industry experts and thought leaders right here on SparrowCast by Survey Sparrow. Today, we have with us none other than Shep Hyken. Shep is the founder and Chief Amazement Officer at Shepard Presentations, a customer service and experience expert, keynote speaker, and New York Times best-selling author. Shep works with companies and organizations of all sizes who want to build loyal relationships with their customers and employees. Welcome to the show, Shep. Super excited
Great
to
to
have
be
you
here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Shep. I think we'll just waste no time. Let's get right into our topic for the day.
I agree. We'll get right into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how to earn a perfect customer service satisfaction score here?
So perfect customer satisfaction score. So let's make it simple. Let's make a rating of 1 to 5. If 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, if it's net promoter score, it doesn't matter. But what we're trying to do is achieve that high score. You know, obviously trying to get a 5 is what we want to do, but here's the secret behind getting 5s. You don't have to be perfect, blow me away, the most incredible service I've ever had in my life to get a 5. What you need to do, and this is actually, it sounds simple, you need to be better than average all of the time. And better than average sounds, well, that's so simple. But the reality of it is, it's not that hard, but the all of the time part, that's what's hard. So I'll give you a great example of this. On a scale of 1 to 5, average is a 3. So if I'm a little bit better than a 3 all of the time, that might earn me a high score. Because here's what customers are going to say. He's always so quick to respond, always knowledgeable, always friendly, always helpful. Even when there's a problem, I know I can always count on him or her or them to take care of me. And the idea is the word always followed by something positive. Now, I'm going to back this up this has been my philosophy for many, many years. But not long ago, I talked to what I consider one of the customer service icons of the world. His name is Horst Schulze. He is the former president and founder of the Ritz-Carlton hotel chain, one of the original founders. So this guy sets out to create one of the finest hotel brands in the world. And his belief was that if you're just 10% better than average, but all of the time, you're going to meet and exceed expectations on a regular basis. Now think about what 10% is. On a scale of 1 to 5, 3 is average. 10% more means a 3.3 or better is what will put you in that category of outstanding, amazing, one of the finest hotel chains in the world. So that's why I believe that just being a little better than average all of the time is what gets you into that zone of amazement. Well, let's talk about surveys in general. You want to get the information, and the key is you want to not just get the information, you want to use the information, because just gathering it means nothing. But how you ask that customer for information, the way you deliver a survey, the way you might do it, either it could be in person, it could be using a platform like yours, what works. And there's several things that I believe are important to a survey. First of all, customers today are just like, they're just too many surveys. And one of my favorite surveys that I like to take, and I will almost always take every time I call my airline, which by the way, it's American Airlines, but I know Delta has a similar survey, is it says at the end of this interaction that I have and this conversation I have with the person I'm going to be talking to, would I be willing to take a short 1-question survey, not a 1-minute survey, not a 2-minute, but just 1 question. And that question is, push 1 for yes and 2 for no. Would I want to talk to this person again the next time I call? And by the way, you can, that's just pretty close to what the actual question is. But you can ask the question or a question a number of different ways to really get some pretty insightful information from a general overall view. So that's a real simple question. Using a platform like yours, keeping it simple. Again, I believe you start asking too many questions, you create survey fatigue. I worked through a survey once with the dealership that I buy my car from, and I was excited. I had a great experience. But when I started to take that survey, 10 minutes into the survey, I didn't want to take the survey anymore. But at the same time, I didn't want to let down the person that I was helping, which is the guy that sold me the car. He did such a great job. So I finished it reluctantly. Then I had my car serviced the first time. The dealership sent me another survey about my experience, and it was just as long. And guess what? I didn't finish. And every time they send me a survey, I don't even open it anymore because I know it's going to be a miserably long survey that gives me survey fatigue. That makes me actually have a negative response to it. And by the way, I want you to think about this. The survey comes after the experience. Whatever that experience they have with that survey, is that the experience you want them to have as the last memory of the interaction that they had with you? So those are just a few thoughts on some of the ways that you want to get a perfect score, but you also want to go about it the right way.
Thank you so much, Shep. That was crisp and insightful. I'm sure our audience felt likewise too. Let me sum up the 3 takeaways from our session with Shep here today. 1, be better than average. Example, do the basics or simple things right. 2, don't just gather surveys, use the insights. 3, aim to do at least 10% better than the average every time.
Yeah, so I think that, my point on that is with the 10%, it's be 10% better than average. So that's not going to be your score, but that's what's going to drive the higher score. But using the information is important because we take the time to ask for the information. We ask them to give us, them being the customer, give us their time. Let's make sure that we respect their time by taking action on the information that we get. Doesn't mean we take action on each individual response from each individual customer, but when you start to look collectively at the data and the trends that it's showing, that you do something with it. It was a long time ago that somebody said, you can't manage what you don't measure. That could have been Deming. It could have been one of the, great business philosophers of our time. But it's so accurate. If you want to manage an experience, you got to know what the experience should be. You got to know what a baseline is. You want to know where you want to go to. And by managing it with a survey and getting your numbers and getting the feedback and getting the data, you can hit your numbers, your goal of numbers, and that means numbers of highly satisfied customers. It might mean repeat customers. It might be higher sales, but you're not going to get those numbers if you don't know how to get there and what's driving those numbers.
Absolutely agree with that, Shep. There. Thank you. So again, probably we'll just have one more question for you, if that's okay.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. So just for our guests here. We just want to ask if you had an opportunity to participate in any of the Sparrow surveys here.
Yes, and the short answer is I find it engaging. It's more of even though it's a digital platform, it's very conversational in a sense, and I love the little short videos, the GIFs or GIFs, depending on what school of thought you come from on what you call them. But it just makes it a little bit more fun and entertaining. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Shep. It means a lot to us here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of your insights. And to all of our guests, we'll see you again in the next SparrowCast.